Really coming at y'all live again. This time it's from no podcast. Shout out to the Golden Gemz podcast, though. It's from a booth.
Bass really the main thing.
These rhymes and these words been long overdue. It's been way overdue. But it's okay, though. I'm back now. I'm in a booth now.
Okay. Welcome back to the Golden Gemz podcast. You're here with your one and only, your host, Relly. Yes, and hey, we here to talk about one thing today. This might be a sensitive subject to some people, I don't know. Well, nah, it's a great subject, actually. So today we talking about restoring discipline. So key word is restoring. That's what your boy had to do. You see, I don't even got my tie tied today. I came raw. Shirt and tie, almost. But at the end of the day, hey, come as you are. At the end of the day, you here back again on Golden Gemz podcast. Let me say it again. The Golden Gemz podcast. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for tuning in. And you know, at the end of the day, you here with your host, Relly. And today we talking about one topic and one topic only. Restoring discipline. How do you do it? What are the steps? How do you go about doing it? And, you know, what kind of gems you got for me, Darrell? That's my government. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell your mama. Don't tell your sister. Don't tell nobody. Nah, but hey, really got some gems for y'all. So we here, man. And at the end of the day, you know, restoring discipline, it requires yourself. It requires you. You're the only one who can restore it. You're the only one who can really cause discipline and really have discipline for your life. Regardless of, say, if you're in the military, say if you're working and you're a nurse, or if you're working and you're a teacher, it doesn't matter. At anything you do, you have to have some type of discipline. And that's what sports taught me. Sports taught me that discipline. Like, sports were just playing sports, and sports, period. It was so detrimental in my life, and it taught me so much because at the end of the day, if you play sports, if you do certain things, if you try certain things and you do it the right way, and if you have that discipline within yourself to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're going at it 120%. And that starts with being on time. That starts with, you know, showing up on the days where you don't want to do it. Because at the end of the day, that's where the greatest success and the greatest things and the greatest stories, that's when it comes. That's when those things happen. When you step out of your comfort zone and you're doing things and you're going places and you're doing, you know, certain things that you normally wouldn't do. But that, you know, ultimately too requires your self-discipline and being able to do those things, being able to afford those things, making sure you're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning if that's what you do. That's what I do. But don't tell nobody. Hey, I'm trying to wake up a little earlier, but, you know, hey, right now, my alarm clock and me, we fighting right now. So I'm up at 5, but probably up at like 5:20, you know, 5:15 after I hit the snooze button a couple times. But hey, that's self-progress. That's self-discipline. That's me disciplining myself. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be an entrepreneur like me, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, period, like, you have to, you know, learn to have that self-discipline. And you have to know how to restore it when you sometimes get out of whack. And sometimes, you know, you might go ahead and you might, you know, have a crazy night out drinking, you know, smoking or whatever you do. If you have that crazy night out, are you still going to show up the next day? Are you still going to go to work to that 9 to 5 or work at whatever job you're doing? Or as an entrepreneur, are you going to wake yourself up or wake your ass up at 5 o'clock and get right back to business? Because at the end of the day, working for yourself and doing things for yourself requires that discipline. And without that discipline and without having, you know, deadlines for yourself, because at the end of the day, you got to have a deadline for yourself, because we all procrastinators. Don't sit up here and lie to me. We all procrastinators. We all sometimes got that one thing at that one day where we like, man, you know what? I can do it tomorrow. But if tomorrow comes, are you going to be able to do it? Like, if y'all tuned in, I had a great quote from Gandhi, And the thing is a quote that I think people should live by, and it's a moral quote, honestly, from me and myself. You know, live as though you were to die tomorrow, but learn as if you were to live forever. And if you're doing those things, and if you're learning, if you really like taking the time and really, you know, seeing what works for you, because that's the thing with restoring your discipline, you have to restore it by knowing yourself and knowing what you do personally and what helps you. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know what helps you, how can you know, how to get that discipline? Sometimes you ain't gonna have a coach in your ear telling you, hey, you gotta be here at this time, you gotta do this, you gotta eat it around this time. No, you gotta be your own coach. And sometimes in life, you know, that's what sometimes people, I wanna say, get misconstrued or get, you know, messed up, because, you know, they sometimes think, oh, let me try to do what he's doing. I think that's good discipline, but is that good discipline for you? Just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. You know, and restoring discipline, you know, it's restoring your discipline. Like, read under the lines a little bit, you feel me? Like, you gotta restore discipline, and you have to discipline yourself, because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna do it for you. Nobody's gonna set that alarm clock for you. Nobody's gonna make sure you're at that meeting on time if you're an entrepreneur. Nobody's gonna come to your door or wake you up in the morning. You ain't living with mom no more. You ain't, you ain't doing, a lot of things, especially say if you're me or if you're somebody else who's been playing sports your whole life, who's had that structure your whole life, but now you're in the real world. So what do? The first thing you do is start restoring that discipline. Start setting those goals. Just like you have goals for football, sports, basketball, soccer, goals for being the #1 teacher, goals for being the employee of the month. Whatever your goal is, make sure you're doing it to the utmost. And sorry, I gotta go ahead move this a little bit. Make sure you're doing it to the utmost. Hopefully y'all can hear me. But make sure, you're doing it to the utmost, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, it starts with restoring your discipline. That's the key. Restoring discipline, period, is the key to life, because without discipline, you're just going to be doing whatever, whenever. And that's no way to live. You got to have structure. You got to have things in your life that's going to manifest and happen for you if you have that discipline and you're determined to make sure that your discipline is everything. So if you don't drink, don't drink. If you don't smoke, don't smoke. If you don't want to go to that party, don't go to the party. If you don't want to go to that family function, go ahead, go to the family function. But at the end of the day, make sure it's within your schedule, make sure it's within your frames, and make sure that, you're always spending time with your family, and that's #1. But still, your discipline comes from you. Discipline, period, comes from you. Yes, your coach might tell you to be somewhere on time. Your mom might tell you to, hey, make sure you're doing your homework. Make sure you're eating your vegetables. But that discipline comes from you. Just like for your body, you're disciplined going to the gym every day. Are you going to be disciplined enough to do it? You're disciplined to go ahead and get to work on time. Are you going to be disciplined enough to leave out 10, 15 minutes early if you live 30 minutes away? Normally than what you normally do, potentially. It just depends on you. It depends on what you're doing, where you're going. At the end of the day, it's called discipline. Self-discipline. Yeah, you can have other people tell you and discipline you, but at the end of the day, it should come from within. It should come from you. You should know your quirks. You should know the things that can get you back in order, say if you're not in order. Or if you're kind of, going down one path, you should know the things that kind of revert back to get on that center path. At the end of the day, I've been restoring my discipline for a while now. And it's probably been, I say, one of the hardest but great things to do, because at the end of the day, it's me. It's my discipline. It's me restoring my discipline for myself within my own life. And at the end of the day, that's what you have to do. Restore your discipline, man. At the end of the day, if you feel like you kind of, I don't want to say going through things, or you feel like you're, kind of, you know, following the wrong person or have the wrong mentor, or have the wrong friend group, or, you know, say if you're upset, you know, how can you deform that? How can you take a step back and be like, okay, wait, am I disciplined enough to take care of the things that I want to take care of? Am I disciplined enough to get these things turned in on time? Am I disciplined enough to not go to that party? Am I disciplined enough to not get upset with somebody? Am I disciplined enough? Like, it can go with everything. Discipline is key, because it's a key to life. It's a key to whatever you want to do to be successful. If you want to be successful, you got to have discipline. Just like, you know, if you want to be a successful athlete. With me, like, I didn't have some discipline in some areas, and I knew that. But at the end of the day, I did things that helped me in my self-discipline and things that worked for me. It might have looked crazy to other people. It might have looked like, you know, something that it wasn't. But at the end of the day, it was my discipline for myself. You know, you got to understand, too, that sometimes you won't match up to what people think or people's expectations of you, and that's okay. As long as you're working hard for you and you're doing what you want to do and you putting in that work and you have that discipline, you can do whatever you want. That's the key, man. That's how you build that generational wealth. That's how you become successful in whatever lane that you're in. Because, yes, you hear getting gems on the Golden Gemz podcast. Let me say it again. The Golden Gemz podcast. You know, and yeah, man, like, go ahead, restore that self-discipline, get disciplined in everything that you do. I don't even know if that's a word, but just be disciplined, man. Be able to restore your own discipline, be able to make your own journey and your own path that's meant for you. Still listen, still pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the universe, pay attention to certain things, but make sure that you're following your own rules and you have that self-discipline. You stand on those morals and those principles that I talked about before. I'm not even gonna cut that because y'all might laugh. So, hey, I'm gonna keep it in there. But hey, you might have that, you know, that thing, and I forgot what I was talking about. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna cut this video short anyway, but hey, restore your self-discipline, man. Be yourself. Know what works for you, and that's how you restore it. Don't restore it by having somebody else's, you know, oh, dang, that works for Johnny, so I might just do the same thing Johnny's doing. No, don't do that, because that might not work for you. You might not be able to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Maybe you're better off at waking up at 5. Maybe you're better off at waking up at 7 or 8 to start your day if you're an entrepreneur. That's the thing. Being an entrepreneur, you can start your day at whatever time you want. Just make sure when you wake up, when God bless you, he bless you to... Hold on, I'm out the bed today. Hey, thank you, Lord. If you do that for you, hey, then go ahead and get money, man. Get to it. Whatever time you wake up. If you pulling all-nighters, if you working hard overnight, go ahead and get that money too. Put in that work. At the end of the day, you're going to be okay. Like, it's okay to run on your own time sometimes. You know, it's okay to not be perfect. Because guess what? If you have that self-discipline, and if you've restored that self-discipline in yourself, and if you know who you are, then it's okay. Just don't do it at the wrong time, though. You feel me? Have that discipline enough that if you say you're going to meet somebody at a certain time, or if you got, you feel me, destination, or if you got to be somewhere, make sure you there. Or, you know, make sure you stand on your word if you give somebody your word. Have that self-discipline to make sure you're there on time, make sure you're doing whatever you got to do, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you're following your own rules, if you're making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Have that self-discipline and do what you said you was going to do. Because that's how it works, you know? And that's the topic of today. I kept it short. I kept it real short. I kept it real simple. Restoring self-discipline. Restore your own self-discipline. Be disciplined for you. Listen to your parents. Listen to the people around you. Trust the people around you if they're good people, if you really know them. But family is family. But make sure your family ain't hurting you, though. And make sure you're not hurting your family. It's a two-way street, you know? That's what requires self-discipline. So if you don't have friends, or if you have a big group of friends, still have that self-discipline and know yourself. Still do those certain things and those certain, I want to say, certain things that works for you. Just do it, you know? If it works for you, it works for you. And at the end of the day, like, hey, you here with the one and only host, the one and only Relly, the one and only Golden Gemz podcast around, because it's the only podcast where you can get gems every day. So, hey, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Make sure you subscribe to. I might cut that, but I might not. Don't judge me. But hey, make sure you hit that like button, man. Make sure you comment. Hit the show notes. See, you know, what's the next episode might be. See what the last episode was. Hit the Random Relly TV, because who knows what I'm doing on there next. But hey, make sure you're just restoring your self-discipline and restoring discipline within yourself and restoring discipline, period. And here, hey, Golden Gemz podcast. We out, baby.